Fair
All right,
enough.
guys, let's move on to tight ends, huh?
Let's do it. All right, I'll lead off here.
Do it. Do it.
So similar to the KJ Hamler play, I know he's pricey for a tight end, but I think a guy who's going to be really sneaky and Driscoll, who sucks, is just going to dump it. And Noah Fant has been amazing.
He's
like
a beast.
19, 20 points a game. He's the outlet. When he gets the ball in his hands, he looks like a receiver.
The guy looks like a man amongst boys on the field.
Dude, and he's like, what, 5,400? Like, for me, it's like,
51.
okay, or 51. Like, I can fit that in. You know, like, I don't need to go. I mean, as much as I like paying down a tight end, I think, like, him and Ertz and Jonnu, like, that, like, low fives, high fours is where I'm going to kind of sit. And just, I think that might be a little different, right? Like,
yeah, no. So Jonnu's definitely going to go a little bit
he'll be
under-owned. Fant is looking at only about 3 to 4% ownership right now.
That's insane.
I like the Goddard Ertz play, but the thing that kills me with that is I don't know which one. You know what I mean? Like, that sucks.
So
like,
here's
Ertz is still getting way more snaps than Goddard, and especially on passing plays. And that's where Goddard. He's Goddard. He's French now. No,
Is it Goddard?
Goddard.
Hey, we smoke the French cigarette. Oh yeah, Goddard.
So Goddard. I mean, he might steal a touchdown from you, but I mean, Ertz is still going to be the guy that gets the 8 targets, and Goddard is the guy that gets the 4 targets. Right? So I'm not scared of that either.
You know, so here I've got some easy fades based on ownership right now. Chris Herndon, 11%. No thanks.
Nope.
After watching the Jets last week, being a Niner fan, I won't touch anyone on
unless
that team.
Jameson Crowder is fully healthy. I'm not touching her.
Did you hear what Adam?
He's out again this week.
Did you hear what
he's out again? So
Gase said today they asked him like who's planning on playing, and he said anybody with a pulse.
He said anyone with a pulse better be ready.
Dude, that team hates him. He hates the team. Like, that's the most toxic situation I've seen since like.
No, thank you on him. Hey,
Darren Waller, 16%. Like
I'm fading him this week. I think Belichick's going to clamp his ass, man. Darren Waller's the real deal. Don't get me wrong.
He's awesome.
And then everyone and their mother is going back to Logan Thomas. I know he's only $3,700, but he's projected at 19% ownership right now.
I will have 0 Logan Thomas.
Dude, okay. And so this is where I want to talk about Akins for the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's your dart throw this week, huh?
That's my dart throw, dude. But he's down to like 3,400, I think, and he's got like the 3rd most routes run of any tight end in the league.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like Deshaun Watson is known to throw to, and Akins is stealing catches. He's getting targets. He's getting touchdowns. Akins is definitely my dart throw that might go like 3% owned.
So if Doyle's out again, I'm going back to Mo Alley Cox.
Mo Alley.
3,800.
Yes.
And then a guy that I'm absolutely going to be playing in a few lineups this week is Drew Sample.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's tight end at 3,500
Mm-hmm.
at like 1% ownership. Again, it's like the KJ Hamler play, right? And this is even a better one because he's actually going to get some volume because he's their starting tight end. I mean, I know no one knows who the hell this guy is, but that's okay, right? We talked about how we like Burrow. We talked about how they're going to throw the ball, 50 to 60 times. Well, I mean, if they're going to throw the ball 50 to 60 times and Drew Sample can go, 4 for 60 and then maybe, fall his way into the end zone. I mean, even if he doesn't, if he can get 10 points, like you're rocking and rolling with that. Like, I mean, you look at last week, Paris Campbell got hurt, but there's a lot of people who won GPPs with Paris Campbell in their lineup at, 0.7 points. So if Drew Sample at 3,500 points can get me 5 points, 6 points, 7 points, like I'm going to be over the moon for that.
Yeah.
And then one guy that if he's healthy, I'm playing him is George Kittle. He's projected at 3% ownership right now. I'm sorry. If he's healthy and he is active, which I like that the Niners are playing the morning game.
Mm-hmm.
I can make sure to find out that he's active, but like, that's just a guy that like, I'm going to play.
They also are not going to trot him out there unless he is like good to go.
100%
so if
healthy.
he's playing,
exactly.
he's ready to rock. So,
And then my last guy I've been looking at, like I like Fant. I like TJ Hawkinson this week. I mean, we talked about it. We like Galladay.
Yeah.
We like that Detroit
I got him
passing
paired up with
situation.
Stafford in one or two two lineups.
Yeah. He's just 5,300. And like, I'm going to go back to Drew Sample and be like, you know, can Drew Sample outscore TJ Hawkinson this week? Absolutely. And that's almost $2,000 in savings. You can't say that same thing for certainty with like a running back, right?
No, but
Will
like
Will is $6,400 running back in Miles Sanders. Like, he's almost guaranteed to do better than a $4,400 running back this week.
Yeah, that's true. I think the one thing that I like about these 5K tight ends, like, is I feel just like really safe that I'm getting 10, 12, 15 points out of them. Like, it's a lot.
Are you?
Like, Hunter Henry at 5,200 is a lot.
So I know you guys are probably off this guy because you guys are Niner guys, but Evan Ingram, he's faced two of the hardest defenses in the NFL between Pittsburgh and Chicago in his first 2 weeks. He had 7 targets week 1, 8 targets week 2, and now he has no Saquon Barkley, and they're missing a receiver. I think he's getting 8+ targets again. It has nothing to do with, the Niners are great. He's going to get 8 targets, and one of them might be a touchdown.
Yeah.
He's usually priced higher. He's at 5,000 right now.
I like that. My only thing with that is that the Niners, where they got hurt, was not in the secondary and not at linebacker. So their pass rush got hurt, yes, which inherently will give the offense a little bit more of an edge. But their linebackers are still pretty fast, and their safeties can still cover pretty well. That's why, again,
this isn't a matchup play. Right.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey,
Evan
Ingram's good, the Niners are good, and the volume's going to be high.
The only reason
I'm for the best.
I'm just not touching the Giants, and same reason why I'm nervous to touch Denver is like for the Giants especially, I have no clue what to expect without Saquon Barkley out there. Like, they could be the Jets, or they could air it out, and Danny Dimes could be freaking
and their
awesome.
coach is a joke too. So
like, I'm trying to avoid situations that like I have no clue what to expect, and just like you said, I mean, you talked about earlier with Keenan Allen, like having the connection with Herbert. Like, 8 targets for 83 yards last week with Hunter Henry at 4,800. Like, I just dig it. Like, I think, we talked about Carolina just being a complete dumpster fire. Like,
no, I like the Henry play. I'm going to have Henry in a couple. Like I said, I'm going to play Herbert. So, especially the lineups where I play Herbert, I'm just going to play Henry.
Yeah.
That's just an easy match for me, right? So,
yeah. Yeah, and I want to play fan. I just feel like I have like 6 tight ends, and I can't play them all. Though. I mean, maybe it is something where I just play them each in like 2-3 lineups and just balance it and say, I don't know.
My tight ends are really balanced right now. It seems like everyone's in 2. So I think I'm just going to balance my tight ends this week, and hopefully one of those lineups wins it all.
Well, it's just such a high variance position. Like we're talking about, like Drew Sample could potentially outscore, even if Kittle plays, George Kittle, right? Mm-hmm. You can't really say that for running backs, or you can't really say that with like 100% certainty with wide receivers or quarterbacks. It's just, it can be so high variance. It's like,
you can get screwed by different things, like a pass rush is just completely melting down the offensive line. Like, they keep your guy in the block, and it's like all of a sudden there is 5 less targets, so you're kind of, it's totally out of your control. That's why I hate going all in on tight ends.
Yeah.